morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's up? What's up? What's up? Hope you guys are feeling blessed and grateful to be alive. Corwin L. Gilliams here, coming at you with another video, another live. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the platform. As this title says, another day. Another day. Another day from the ground up. I've been going live more consistently because that is something that I should do if I'm truly believing that my desires and my dreams to be a lifestyle influencer, but also one who is being compensated, right, and monetized, because that is what allows us to do what we love, but also take care of ourselves, right? So I've been going live more recently every day, and I'm seeing how my following has been slowly increasing. So that's a sign, that I'm on the right track as far as attaining my goals, right? With that being said, for those of you who have been following and supporting, continue to do so. I think it's inspirational and motivational when you can really look at someone's journey, right? I know I've seen people's journey. I've been watching some YouTubers for a while, for years, and it's beautiful to be able to see the transformation, right? You see how at one point, how they looked. A lot of them lost weight, a lot of weight. A lot of them have upgraded their residence and they're living in homes now. A lot of them, of course, their family has grown, whether that's having kids and being in a position where they can do more because they have more, right? And so a lot of the times when we are developing a new business, or good morning, thank you for joining the live. Don't forget to support the platform. A lot of people, when they are in the beginning stages of developing whatever they're developing, it's not always pretty, right? It's not always attractive. And so oftentimes people don't want to, be transparent about the journey, right? Oftentimes when we look on social media, we see the glory, right? We see the end result of people's hard work. And oftentimes we don't really give them their flowers, as they would say. We don't really say, you know what, you did amazing. You really did that. You know what I'm saying? You really put in the work, right? And with that being said, oftentimes when we don't know the work that people put into their business, into their brand, we tend to not value it or respect it in the way that they do. And this is revealed when it comes to family members hiring other family members. Oftentimes, good morning, thank you for joining the live. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and support. Oftentimes when family members hire other family members, you'll find that the family members, while they truly may want a job or want an opportunity, they just don't put in the same level of work, right, and effort as the owner, which would be some type of relative, right? And so you'll find that in addition to that, you'll find that also, just because people think you're family, they can get away with whatever they want to get away with, and they're not supposed to follow the rules. And so that's why most times you'll hear people say, don't hire family members. But I don't believe in that. I believe that ultimately, as a leader, I feel like as a leader, you basically are in control, right? You set the tone as to what you want established in your business. And if your family, whoever it is, it can be blood, it can be, not blood, if they're not willing to respect the structure and the rules and the policy of the business, then it's your responsibility to fire them, just like you would fire or let go any other employee, and to not care how they will feel about it. It is what it is, okay? And this is where you really have to understand the concept of, boundaries, and also your business. This is why God will have you go through some stuff, because when you go through some stuff to get what you have, you really are no nonsense about keeping it. You really God, when you really had to fight for whatever business you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing, and you finally get to the point where you're making money and your life has changed because of your hard work, you're really no nonsense when it comes to people who think that they can come in your business, especially family members, if you're wanting to help them, and think that they can come in there and tear up your business. If they do that, that's your fault. That is your fault. And maybe there is an issue of people pleasing, right? And because that's a major issue with a lot of people when it comes to leadership. It's people pleasing. You can't please everyone, and you definitely can't afford to sabotage your brand or your business, uh, putting yourself in a position where you have people who don't even like themselves. You understand me? They don't even care about themselves, so why would they exert the same effort and respect for your business or your entity that you've created out of love and out of a desire to want to, establish yourself? Okay, so that has been a recurring storyline when it comes to people that I know who have worked with family members, and they'll say, "Oh, family, huh?" No, it's not all family. Some family members, God, and this is all by the grace of God. We have to let God direct us to whom He knows is going to be the people that are going to actually do what they're supposed to do. See, I'm called to talk about the Israelites, right? So when God had raised up leaders, right, whether it was Joshua, Aaron, Moses, who else? David, it wasn't whom these people wanted to take their place that took their place. God had already chosen individuals within their bloodline, within their community, to take their place. So for example, in the case of David, David had a lot of sons, and they were already in well, even before his old age. Absalom was one of David's son who was trying to steal the throne. But even so, upon his old age, right, when he's about to transition on to glory, and now there's someone that is supposed to take his place, they were already plotting, right? He already had people, sons and people plotting to take the throne. But God had already established Solomon as the inheritor, right? Also, in the case of Moses and Joshua, Joshua is not the brother of Moses, right? Moses, Aaron is Moses' brother, right? Yet still, it was not Aaron. Well, Aaron was older, so Aaron was about 3 years older than Moses, so it would not have been him. But the point is, when God was ready to, continue the relay, He chose Joshua, right? And I'm sure there were other people in the camp who wanted to take the reign, who wanted to take leadership after Moses. But God had already selected whom He wanted, whom was Joshua. So I say that to say that that God already has, if you have family members that you really want to work with and help, God already has people in your family whom He has, evaluated, and He's like, okay, this person can be a part of the vision or the dream that I've given you, and so just be obedient to that. But everyone else is not allowed, and you're gonna know it. You're gonna have that feeling. You're gonna have that intuition. Not saying that I'm called to talk about opportunities that are more temporary or seasonal. I don't even know where I'm going into this, but maybe someone needs to hear this. You may have opportunities that are more temporary or seasonal where, you can give them a little 2 month, 3 month gig. They do their work and you send them on their way, right? But I'm talking about situations where you have, for instance, celebrities who have worked with their stylist, their makeup artists, their hairstylist, their management from since the beginning of their career. We're talking about over 10, 15, 20 years of a working relationship, okay? That's different, right? And that's more of what I'm talking about when it comes to God, giving you the intuition and the insight to choose the people that you want to work with. And the people that I'm talking about, as far as celebrities who have worked with people for a long time, they include family members as well, cousins and so forth, right? So, and sisters, and so just be judicious, because sometimes we want to put people in a role or in a position and they don't have the capacity, they don't have the wherewithal to handle the position, and that in itself will cause people to drop the ball, right? Because we think that they can do it and they can't, and maybe they don't know that they can, or they're too afraid to say no, or they're more concerned about the benefit, as in the money, more than rejecting the opportunity. So they're like, you know what, at least I'm getting paid for this. If I screw up, so what? Again, if it's your business, we can't have that, right? And again, we live and we learn. So any wrong decision or any quote unquote failure is a learning opportunity to learn from our mistakes. But I'm just talking about experience. I'm 36 years old, right? I'm talking about years of being in certain environments, of hearing stories, of having encounters, and just making a decision based on what I believe until my belief has changed. But this is what I believe today, that it doesn't matter who it is. Make sure that the person is fit. Make sure that the person is willing, and they don't have to be fit as in qualifications or as in what is communicated on paper as far as degree, but fit as in a willingness and an openness and an open-mindedness and a humility to be able to learn what needs to be able to learn, to go through the process of what needs to be gone through. Me, I believe I've had to have certain experiences that I felt like, why am I doing this? I don't like, I'm better than this, right? But I humbled myself and I allowed myself to go through the situation because I believe that God was working something out in me, right? There is something in me that God is trying to purge, or something in me God is trying to develop, or something in me, right, that God is going to use, right, as an example. When I'm now in a position where I'm now implementing policies, or I'm implementing procedures or best practices, right? And I can say, okay, this is what you do. This is what works because it worked for me. Now, just because it worked for me doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you. Nonetheless, everyone has their thing. Every company has their method. Every organization has their way of doing things, and they stand by it. They invest in it, right? They promote it, right? When you have job applications and when they advertise their job applications or their job openings, and they set the standard as to what they're looking for, and you come as close to the qualifications as possible. When you have 20 people or 30 people sending online applications, who you think they're going to pick? They're going to pick the ones that are closest to their expectations, even without seeing the person, even without having a personal encounter with the person to perceive their likability or if they're likable. And this is another thing when it comes to job opportunities. You may have to get out there and show your face, because it can be a good and a bad thing, right? Sometimes people may not like the boldness, or sometimes you may encounter someone who may not necessarily like your personality, right? But at least you're thinking outside of the box. At least you are allowing yourself to just be persistent. Overall, it's persistence. So, um, yeah. So today's another day. I don't know. I am thankful to God. I'm grateful, and I just wanted to come on here and show my face to you, amazing people. To let you, can y'all hear me? If you can hear me, let me get a thumbs up. To let you guys know, that keep going. Don't give up. Do not give up. Look at this beautiful view, though. Hold on. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? All right, y'all. So I might do a second live depending on I feel like I've said all that I needed to say right now. So I may come back on in a bit, or maybe later on to do another live. With that being said, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Support the don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Support the platform. I left my Cash App in the title of the live. If what I said, or if you like what it is that I do, and you want more, your support is greatly appreciated. I am Corwin L. Gilliams, and I will talk to you amazing and faithful people very soon. Oh, happy birthday, Zoe. What do you have plans for your birthday? All right, y'all. I'll see y'all later.